Hello and welcome. So I have some makeup on today because I was making some videos for the Pokemon channel that my boyfriend and I have going on, where we open up Pokemon cards because I'm absolutely obsessed with Pokemon stuff. Yep. So on that note, let's talk about illness stuff. So something I wanted to talk about today is medical gaslighting. So medical gaslighting is something that happens quite often, and I wanted to kind of share what it kind of looks like so you can know when you're actually being medically gaslit. So I will share an experience of mine. So I went to the hospital because I had a moment with my brain, which kind of maybe made me forget a lot of things and stuff, and I ended up in the ER. So yes, that was kind of vague. So I basically had this thing wake me up from sleep where I had pain in my head and it shot into my arm, and then I was unable to really use my left arm and it was numb after. So I thought I was gonna die when it happened, and I didn't die because I'm still here, obviously, making this video. But it was really scary. And so when I got up, because I was staying with my parents at the time, and when I talked to my mom, I was like, I need to go to the hospital because I don't know what happened. I think maybe I had a stroke or a TIA or something, because it was very messed up and scared the crap out of me. So we ended up going, and I lost an entire day. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I was in the hospital for a while, and this doctor ended up telling me that I didn't have any of my diagnoses while I was in the cardiac ICU. And I was like, what do you mean I don't have what I'm diagnosed with? I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, I have mast cell activation, and I have hyperPOTS. And she told me because my vitals were fine while I was hooked up to these machines. Granted, I had been on IV hydration for 2 or 3 days. So of course, if you have hyperPOTS, you might know or might not know that if you're hydrated quite regularly and nicely, and they give you salt pills in the hospital while having you hooked up to IV hydration, you're probably not going to have very much symptoms, because it's actually alleviating them, because that's what hydration and salt do for me. They make my symptoms not be there as much. So I had this doctor tell me I didn't have hyperadrenergic POTS. She also told me I didn't have mast cell activation. She also told me I didn't have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, while I was stretching my skin out and showing her stuff and being like, I don't look the way that I do because I don't have Ehlers-Danlos. I do have Ehlers-Danlos. So she medically gaslit me. When a doctor is telling you you don't have things that you're actually diagnosed with, that's gaslighting. So I brought in photos, I had my parents bring in photos of when I had mast cell activation rashes that lasted for over 6 months. And then she told me that I obviously had an autoimmune disorder, but it wasn't mast cell activation because that's far too rare, which infuriated me. So I was like, if there's nothing wrong with me, I'm free to leave the hospital then, right? And she's like, well, no, we need to treat you for what you came in for, so you can't just leave. And it made me feel extremely unwell. It made me question my own sanity, which is what it ends up doing. So when you have a rare disease, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 5, whatever, how many rare diseases you have, and if someone is trying to convince you that you don't have them, especially if it's a medical doctor, they make you question your own sanity. And I felt like, okay, so if it's not that big of a deal, then I'll just go about doing whatever I want and I'll be fine. I won't need to, have this happen again later or anything. I'll be fine, right? And it's not that way, because I ended up getting sicker, I ended up having more problems trying to pretend that I didn't have diseases that I actually have. So medical gaslighting can actually do way more harm than good. And if anything, it makes us patients question our sanity. And when we're living with something that's rare and we're already having to try to convince the people around us that the rare condition that we have actually exists, it's so exhausting. So if someone is gaslighting you, I honestly don't know what to tell you what to do. Because personally myself, I usually just shrug it off, and I tell them, you can look on Netcare, which is something that's here in the province that I live in Canada. So they can go on the computer, they can type up my name, they can type up my health number, and they can see all of my diagnoses on there. They can see the tests that I've had done. And the reality is when doctors don't do that, especially in the ER, they can cause more harm than good. So it's very important to advocate for yourself and continue to advocate for yourself. And as long as you know that what you are saying is true because you are diagnosed by medical professionals, don't give up on yourself and don't allow the medical system to bully you, regardless of the person who's bullying you. For me, it was a doctor telling me I didn't have what I have. And in actuality, that's wrong. It really is. Like, I went through vigorous amounts of medical testing in 2 provinces to be diagnosed in 2 provinces with what I have. So the fact that I have a doctor telling me who knows nothing of my medical history that I do not have the diseases I have is just showing how people who have rare disease need to continue to advocate for themselves, need to continue to come forward and speak out about things that are going on with you. So there's actually something I'd like to do. I would actually really like to interview other people living with chronic illness. So if that's something that you're interested in, please just comment down below or contact me on social media and let me know if that's something that would interest you. Whether you'd like to do it in the form of a blog post or perhaps us talking over something and recording it, although I haven't really figured out that part yet because I don't know where I could do that. Because I don't have like a subscription to Zoom or whatever, and to record on there I think you need to pay for it, and I am a student and disabled, so I don't really have like a lot of disposable income. What is that? Anyways, I appreciate you being here and listening to me natter on a bit about medical gaslighting. If you have a medical gaslighting story and you want to share it, please let me know. I would definitely be interested in hearing it, and if it's something you'd like to share with other people, I would gladly like to have you on my blog, or perhaps even I might start a podcast thing again, where we talk about illness and stuff like that. If that's something you're interested in, please let me know as well. Take good care. Thanks for being here. If you want to subscribe and stuff, feel free, but there's never any pressure to do that kind of stuff. Talk to you soon. Bye.